of you might have seen a triangle which says Brahmins first, then there is a Kshatriyas, then there is a Vaishyas, and there is a Shudras. How many of us have seen that? I see almost everybody has seen that. I've been always asking this question, which scripture is it supposed to have come from? कहाँ पे वो लिखा है? When I ask this question, even when I do the Purvapaksha with others, then they come up with this saying, it comes in the Purusha Sukta. So the Purusha Sukta, the hymn is very simple. The shloka says, Brahmanosi mukamasit bahura janyakriteha uru dayat dayat vaishyas padbhyam sudro ajayat. It says from the same Purusha, from the mouth came the Brahmanas, and then the other three Varnas which came from the same Purusha. That is how it describes. Now I'll read you how a Western scholar has written it. The 4 classes of society, and then they start with this. I'll just read the most relevant part. His mouth became the priest. All Vedic priests are Brahmin, though not all Brahmins are priests. Okay, so this is their definition of Vedic era. Okay, I don't know how they got it from. The most relevant one which says is his feet. They talk about the Purusha, the lowest and dirtiest part of the body. The servants, in the brackets it puts Shudras, the outside class within society that defines the other classes. That the Shudras were an afterthought is evident from the fact that the third class, Vaishyas, is sometimes said to be derived from the word for all, then therefore to mean everyone. I am reading it from a scholar's book. Okay, leaving no room for anybody below them. So now there are 3 straight away you can see misinterpretations. Lowest and dirtiest part. ये कहाँ से आ गया? It was not there. And when a Purusha is being given a Bali, one can argue whether a Bali happens when the Purusha is standing straight or is it done this way. Typically from what we know of, a Bali is done in a horizontal position. When it is done in a horizontal position, the feet are not necessarily low. And feet are not necessarily considered dirty in our drishti at all. Right? I have only heard of Pada Puja. Right? So when we see elders, we touch their feet. So this is a very common thing in our culture. So how alien drishti has come into this? Right? That is how text meaning gets read into it. And now there is Shudras were an afterthought because they come from the Aryan invasion theory, and then they say because people here were subjugated, they were made Shudras. So that is how the story goes. Now, if Vaishyas means the word for all, right? We don't need to learn any great scholarship of Western scholar. If a word means for all, then my understanding, simple understanding is, usko upar bhi kuch nahi hona chahiye na. All means all. So how did Brahmanas come first and then Kshatriyas come? And second is, if somebody wanted to add, when there is a all, will they add before or will they add later? So these are considered great proof by the Western scholars. And what happens? People start believing in them. We don't get to read our own scriptures, unfortunately. And all the division within the society starts happening, fault lines start getting created. Okay. Now, and there is this beautiful word which I still couldn't understand. Shudras are the outside class within the society. So they are within the society, but they define the other classes. They are outside as well as they are within. I could not understand. If anybody could understand, maybe offline you can tell me how somebody can be outside and also can be within. Right? This is how Western scholarship is. Okay. Now, based on that, I believe one famous personality has also said we should rewrite Purusha Sukta. Achhi baat hai, right? My question is, what is the problem with Purusha Sukta? There is where the interesting part comes. And people, I give all this information, they still say, from the same body I understand all this, but why can't we say everybody is equal? I said, where is it said it is not equal? Right? That is itself not given. Correct? I can't answer a negative. Right? How could you do that? Now, in which way I will give you one more answer. There is an Upanishad called Brihadaranya Upanishad. It comes to us from the sacred Shukla Yajurveda corpus. That comes from that. In the Brihadaranya Upanishad, the same Srishti is being talked about. I won't say the full slokas, but I will just give you the brief of it. It says, Brahmava idamakrasit ekameva tadegagni channap vibhavati tasshreyo rupam atyasridadaga shatram vanyedani. Then the next line will start as Chanaiva vibhavati sa visham ashrijataha. Then the third line says, Chanaiva vibhavati sa shaudram varnam ashridarja bhushanam iyam vaibhushe yagne hidakne sarvam pushyati yadidam kincha. These are the three lines. What that line says is, there was a fire. That fire became Brahmana, but it could not flourish. Because it could not flourish, it became a Kshatriya. The third one, it still could not flourish. So, it became a Vaishya. It still could not flourish, it became a Shudra. This is the verse. So, these are the four interpretations. Now, first question which people will ask is immediately they ask, did you bring some random text? Because this Guruji would have read something somewhere. We have so many books, no? Kuch library mein kuch, there was some small kitab. No, it is not. It is actually one of the 15 principal Upanishads I am talking about. This is Brihadaranya Upanishad. You can go and search for it. Second question which comes up with, maybe somebody might have overseen it. Right? So many texts are there, so many shlokas are there. The Western scholars, how could we expect them to read? Answer is no, because the three shlokas I said before, right before that there is the first shloka which starts with Brahmava idamakrasi tadatmana meva veda aham brahmasmititi. Aham brahmasmititi is one of the Mahavakyas of the Shukla Yajurveda. So they couldn't have missed it. Right? There are only 4 Mahavakyas for all the 4 sacred Vedas. They couldn't have missed it. So why was this never discussed? Now the last interesting part. We talked about the 4, but the 5th line of the shloka also goes, that is where it gets interesting. It says, Chanaiva vyavavadu tashreyo rupam atyarsidhyadika dharmam thadet. It says. So what it means is, if we have to draw a triangle, like what, because Western scholars seem to always write this triangle, if we really want to draw the triangle, Dharma and Kshatriya have to be first, and below all the 3 Varnas have to come. That is one way of drawing the triangle. Now, Western scholars read more into it, right? We call it eisegetical translation because they want to read what they want to read. But if you want to supply, there is a word which comes in the second line of the shloka saying tas shreyo rupam. In the 5th line of the shloka also it says shreyo rupam. Shreyo is, you can call it as a better form, and then the best, excellent form you can call it as shreyas. That is the word in Sanskrita. Okay. So if you supply the shreyo word into the other 2, assume they are the missing ones. I am not reading from the text. Then the order becomes even more interesting. It becomes Dharma first, then it becomes Kshatriya, then it becomes Shudra, then it becomes Vaishya, then finally last becomes the Brahmana. This is what the text says. So why was this not shown as an alternative view which was available? Now, one last final point about how our systems believed in equality. And the word which goes for dharma, where it says, the shloka says, Dasmat dharmat param nasti. There is nothing better than dharma, it says. And why it says, it gives an answer, Abaliyan baliyan samasamste. It says, because dharma is there, then even the might will not win. Because then only the Kshatriyas rule will be there. If there is no dharma, we need to have dharma. So even a person, weak person, says that I have got the righteousness on my part, hence I will be able to fight against a bigger enemy if the dharma is on my side. I have not heard of a better equality in any other scripture saying more clearly about why dharma is. Okay. So, my request is whenever you hear all these misinterpretations, please do go back into the original source and read it. Don't just read the